Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome to Soul Tales podcast with your friend Ankita Juneja, back again with another interesting episode for all of you. Before I start today's episode, I would like to request you, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and be part of this tribe. It really means a world to me. Before I move forward, I would like to share a story which will inspire you and it will make the episode more interesting. Today morning when I woke up, I had this thing in my mind that I need to record podcast, but other side of mine was like, shall I take a pause? I was like, let's just go with the flow and see how days go, then I'll see what to do. And lately, I haven't consumed any content. I don't know, I was not vibing much with podcast and YouTube. So I haven't watched any other contents out there. But today, the day was so high in energy. It was all about me watching spiritual content. In afternoon's time, I have watched like 2.5 hour podcast of Ranveer show with Rajeshri Nandi. The podcast was high, intense. It was all about Mahavidyas and different form of goddess. It was so high in energy and I really enjoyed that episode. I'll also link the description in the below if you would like to watch. It was really fabulous episode. I have learned a lot from that episode and I was in a very different energy. And I think the reason I stumbled on that episode is because I needed a motivation. I needed an inspiration to share something different with all of you. I was finding it challenging, like what I should talk about, and I wanted to do something different. Also, today I realized one more thing. There is nothing like coincidence. Everything happens for a reason. In evening's time, again stumble on a podcast between Akshat Gupta and Arun Pandit. I will also add the link in the description below. So, that podcast was again packed with lot of value, lot of insight. More or less today I have consumed a lot of content which is just spiritual based. What I realized from this episode was nothing is coincidence. Everything happens for a reason. I was learning so many things and I'm also a spiritual being, so I was really enjoying that content. And also the way Akshat Gupta was talking over there and the way he was conversing with Arun Pandit, it was really fascinating for me to see and learn a lot from both of them. Also, I have got insight about a lot of spiritual context, all about histories. There were a lot of things that they have shared. So I highly recommend, if you are someone who enjoys spiritual content, go and listen to that episode. Coming back to this episode, it just motivated me like, okay, I have this 2 recommendation to share with all of you, where I feel like when you listen to such content, when you consume this kind of thing, it makes you aware of the things which you are not aware of. Also, when you listen to such kind of episode, it just ignites something inside of you. When I was listening to those episodes, it was like I was actually listening to a conversation which I would never have chance probably. But that conversation was packed with lot of little insight where it was about everything in life is happening for a reason. When we look back and when we connect the dots, we feel like, oh, wow, how great that opportunity was. But how did that opportunity came? What thing has happened? At time we see like we are experiencing delays, but when we look back, we actually find a reason, like there was a reason behind that delays too. So that was a different energy that I was experiencing listening to those episodes. But also what that episode taught me was sometimes it's good to not know everything, because that's what make the life journey more beautiful. If you know everything, for instance, if you go and watch a movie and if you know the ending beforehand, you might not enjoy the movie. But on the other side, when the movie's end is suspense, we are always excited to know like what will happen next. I think that's the beauty and that's how our life is meant to be lived also. And somewhere this was a reminder for me too that yes, life is meant to be this way. You're not supposed to know everything, because otherwise life will become boring. Sometimes our mind just fixate and it just wants to know like what next. But I was realizing from my own pattern that when I'm telling my mind that I'm feeling boredom, nothing is happening, my mind is behaving differently. It's just trying and going into places to find like, okay, what I should do next. Whereas when I was telling my mind like everything is fine, everything is happening as it should be, I was experiencing a very calm and subtle energy where I was feeling like, okay, everything is under control. So the way we talk creates a fight or flight mode. it's up to us, like how we approach and what we tell our mind. If we are telling our mind like everything is fine, it acts in a very different and smoother way. But on the other side, if we tell our mind like nothing great is happening, it will make you restless and it will just look for like what next, which will create even more anxiety inside of you. I can say this from my own experience because I have closely somewhere monitored my thoughts and what was my reaction to it. That's why I can say this: have a healthy conversation with yourself. When you tell yourself that yes, you can, you will go and find evidence to make things happen. But on the other side, if you tell yourself like you cannot, you will just give up. Even if you can perform, you will just see like you are just giving up. Coming back to the start of the podcast, I said like there was a reason, and the reason was when I was thinking like I need to take pause, but my mind was like what I should talk about, what different I can share. So I came across this content. After a long time I was consuming so much of content. Today my entire day was like 6 to 7 hours of content I have consumed, which was very high in energy, lot of spiritual insight. It was totally packed with the spiritual wisdom. But it just gave me motivation to perform and to record this episode for all of you. Today as I go to sleep, I will be at ease that yes, I was able to record this podcast for all of you and I was able to deliver. There is no gap, there is no pause. But I was able to do this because I was looking for that sign. I was looking for that clue so that I don't take a pause from podcast. And that's how you find like evidence and insight from an outer world, when you are open and when you tell yourself that you are not gonna give up and you will perform. Because when you're just based on motivation, there can be a time when you will lack motivation. But when you are committed to system, when you are committed to commitment, like this is the thing that needs to be done, your mind will go and look for evidence. Even universe will give you reason to perform, but it will only happen when you have a good and healthy self-talk. I was not fixated at that point of time like I need to do this, I need to do it. Otherwise I would have felt the pressure to perform. Whereas what I did was I was going with the flow, and as I have consumed this great content, my energy shifted and I learned something new which I felt like you all can benefit also. That's why I'm recording this episode. Similarly, you can apply this concept in any area of your life. Whenever you are feeling like you need some motivation, don't just rely on motivation, because there can be days when you will not feel motivated. On the other side, if you rely on your commitments, on your system, like yes, you need to do this no matter what, you will find reason, clues and evidence, and entire universe will support you to make that thing happen. And I think that's the best place to be in for anyone, not just for content creators, but anything you want to do. Have the commitment, have self-discipline, and at times just let things flow, because when you let things flow, you attract great opportunity and possibilities in your life. I hope this episode was helpful to you. Let me know in the comment section, was it helpful? What you learned from this episode? And I hope that you will go and listen to that episode, because I thoroughly enjoy. So I highly recommend go and watch both the episode. It will really help you. I'm looking forward to connect with all of you in my next episode. Sending you lots of love and light. Signing off from my side. Until next time, keep shining bright. Bye bye.